Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please as we go through the following safety instructions.
In the event that there is a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen mask will drop from the overhead. Place the mask over your nose and mouth. Breathe normally as oxygen is flowing even if the mask is not infused. Be sure to adjust your own mask before helping others.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Heauxliloquy Podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. This is your favorite host, Vernon T. Scott, also known as Slater Jastin, and for you freaky motherfuckers out there, Sebastian Adams. On today's episode, it's not even a fucking episode because guess what? Season 2 is on its way to you. And this season, we have some new voices. We have some new people. We have some old favorites as well. And I say voices because, look, this is an audio only I was about to say paragraph. What the hell? Audio only podcast. And look, in the future, if we decide to, step out there with some video, I might give that to you. And it might also already be on the Patreon. Who knows? I know. So you all just get ready because this season has some great conversations. It has some great people, just some beautiful souls that I've been able to connect with. Some of them I've met off of Podmatch. Some people I've met off of Instagram. Some people I've followed on social media for some time and finally got the nerve to reach out to them and speak to them because I'm an introvert. I'm also a very shy person. Look, I don't just openly talk to people. It takes work to build up to that point. And if you are new to the podcast, welcome. Go ahead. Just follow the podcast, subscribe, join the fucking conversation. If you want to be a guest, look, just all you have to do is make sure you go to the Heauxliloquy Podcast website and just follow instructions. Just follow the instructions. You will understand when you get there. It's about how to be a guest and whatnot. But I'm just happy that we are returning for another season. I hope you all are happy as well because it's been a rough year for a lot of people. I know it's definitely been a rough break because, look, I am so used to listening and getting feedback and responding to people about what they enjoy and what they don't like about the podcast because, we all have our preferences and whatnot. But it just feels so good to be coming back to this podcasting space. Oh, what the show is about. So, for those who are new to the podcast, this is a sex podcast. We just have conversations about sexuality, just how it varies throughout the spectrum, like how we all have our different preferences, we all have our different joys, our kinks, fetishes. We have a lot of differences, but we're all human beings. And it's just showing that appreciation for that aspect of just being human and being sexual beings. It's about sexual freedom. It's about ownership of yourself. It's about just talking about sex. So with the podcast, we release episodes every other day. Sorry, I'm lying. We release 2 episodes per week, one on Wednesdays and the other episodes on Saturday. We're still going to be releasing episodes on the at noon on those days, so be on the lookout. We're still going to have the same break. So we have a mid-season break that happens in the month of June. So it's going to be a little bit early this year. It's going to be that last week of May, but we'll be coming right back in August. But don't forget, because some of you joined and followed and subscribed to the podcast while we were on break, and some of the first episodes and your first introduction to the Heauxliloquy Podcast was Hovember, and you was loving it. Guess what? Hovember is going to be coming back this year too. So get ready for those conversations. Right now, as I'm recording this, it's in the month of February, just to be honest, right before the episodes come out. Um, but yeah, while I was recording, throughout this, I'm sorry, my mind is not doing what it needs to do right now. But throughout this year, I've been thinking about what I want to talk about during November, and there's going to be some nice topics. Some of the topics will be revealed throughout this season, so you can go ahead and anticipate what the conversation is going to be like. So just think about who's going to be on those episodes, okay? Like, I'm excited. Y'all have no idea. I am so excited to be returning for season two. If you have not done so, please follow the podcast. Stay up to date. Don't miss an episode. It's a great podcast to listen to when you're traveling. It's a great podcast to share with your friends. It's a great conversation starter. If you are having issues with engaging with certain conversations with your partner, guess what? You might learn how to do such a thing through this podcast. So, a little bit about myself for those people who are new to the show. So, again, my name is Vernon. I have a background in education. Sex ed is part of that educational background, higher ed for the majority of that background. I have a doctorate in leadership and professional practice. I am a sets coach. My research focuses on rape culture, as well as helping people advocate for themselves. And as a life coach, which I've done some of that, I really do help people with learning how to be the best successful them. And, self-ownership is a thing, holding themselves accountable for whatever the actions that they have, finding joy, finding happiness, finding purpose, feeling fulfilled and satisfied in what they're doing in their lives. It's just what I do. It's what I like. It is who I am. But I say all that to say is that, look, I'm me. I do what I do. I love myself, and I hope you love yourself too. I don't know where I'm going at this point, because look, this podcast has hella tangents. So if you're not the type of person who enjoys tangents, I'm sorry, but you will still enjoy the podcast regardless. I have plenty of people who say that they walk away with nuggets of wisdom. They walk away with feeling better about themselves, feeling a little bit more free. This podcast is just a safe space for all of that growth. It is a safe space of having conversations of people just being authentically them. Sometimes we may have a perspective that seems a little bit toxic, but we don't address it as such. We just see it as a asset or a part of that person. Now, this is not to say there's things we condone problematic behavior, because look, that's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is just about being your authentic self. If your authentic self happens to be problematic, then I could only accept you, and you don't have to be here. But I think I've rambled long enough. Again, it is season two of the Heauxliloquy Podcast. Get ready for laughter, get ready for joy, get ready for tough conversations, get ready for growth. That's it. That's what you should get ready for. Get ready for a lot of growth. This is our second year. Well, this is my second year. Oh, before I forget, y'all gonna hear some pop-up episodes of a different kind of show throughout this season. That's because I have a second podcast. I can't tell you what it is. You would just have to be exposed to it on some random Sunday, because bonus episodes are released on Sundays. And I'm not going to tell you what the podcast is about, but I will say I have been approved to test sex toys. And because I've been approved to test sex toys, I decided that might as well have a spin-off podcast. So look out for that. Oh, actually, now I think about it, the podcast title, the cover art, and all of that has already been released. So episodes of The Vibrator in My Pod will be coming on the Heauxliloquy Podcast. Tasty. Coming. It feels good. Okay, I'm sorry. But yes, you will be able to hear some of those episodes here, but I will not be playing all the episodes on this platform. So make sure when the episodes come out, which will begin April 1st, April Fool's Day, and episodes will be released on the first of each month. When that happens, make sure you are there to listen, follow, like, subscribe, whatever words that rate the show, honestly, but whatever you want to um, do to show your appreciation for that show, show your appreciation for me, show your appreciation for the Heauxliloquy Podcast, please do so. If you know someone who is trapped in a bubble and they need to learn how to express themselves sexually, tell them about the Heauxliloquy Podcast, because most people just need validation that they can do whatever they need to do or what they want to do, and they deserve to do that. So share that with them. So they don't keep me to yourself. I understand how great I am over here because I love myself, and I hope you love me too. But it's okay to share me. It's okay. I've been in threesomes. I've been shared. I've been loved on like that before. Okay. Okay. Are you trying to have a threesome with me? Ooh. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, we'll talk about that on the podcast. I'm not bringing that up here. We are not bringing that up here. But to wrap this conversation up, let me just go ahead and share with you the good old words that I love to tell you all. So thank you so much, audience. Thank you. I really do appreciate you all for listening to the Heauxliloquy Podcast. So, just in case no one else told you this today, oh my gosh, it's been months. It has been months since some of you have heard this. Again, I am so, so sorry. I'm sorry, but we all need self-care. We all need a break. But anyways, just in case no one else told you this today, you are beautiful, you are worthy of happiness and joy, you are enough and then some. You may not live up to the expectations of others, but that is okay. You are only required to walk in your own shoes. May each day you live lead you towards abundance. With that said, love you all and see you next episode. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Heauxliloquy Podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. You can subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting app and find us on the web at www.heauxliloquy.com. That's www.heauxliloquy.com. Share the podcast with your friends and join the conversation.